Hey guys, my name is Nora Franch, and welcome to the podcast Grateful Blessed Mess, daily reflections for those in the 12 steps. I am a fellow 12-stepper and certified mindset coach, and I am here to introduce you to the value of mindset coaching in your 12-step journey. So if you feel like you are stuck in the steps, if you're slipping and sliding with your abstinence, mindset coaching may help you as it did me, and you can find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. These episodes are meant to invite you in to consider the truths of 12-step wisdom and to join in the very real struggle of living them in action. I hope that it feels almost like a mini meeting, and I invite you to contribute your own share on the Grateful Blessedness Facebook group to keep the discussion going. My comments are based on my own experience, so feel free to take what you like and leave the rest. But my hope is to encourage you on your own daily 12-step journey. As they say, you cannot stay clean on yesterday's shower. So without further ado, let's begin. Hey guys, we are reading from Daily Reflections. It's the reading for July 6th, Identifying Fear. The chief activator of our defects has been self-centered fear. That is from the AA 12 and 12, page 76. Oh goodness, what a doozy. Okay. When I feel uncomfortable, irritated, or depressed, I look for fear. This evil and corroding thread is the root of my distress. Fear of failure, fear of others' opinions, fear of harm, and many other fears. I have found a higher power who does not want me to live in fear, and as a result, the experience of AA in my life is freedom and joy. I am no longer willing to live with the multitude of character defects that characterized my life while I was drinking. Step 7 is my vehicle to freedom from these defects. I pray for help in identifying the fear underneath the defect, and then I ask God to relieve me of that fear. This method works for me without fail and is one of the great miracles of my life in Alcoholics Anonymous. This topic of fear, I have to give credit to a sponsee of mine who, when we were reading through the 12 and 12, she's like, do you think fear is like the root of all, problems? I forget how she worded it, but it really got me thinking. I think I was like, oh my goodness, I never thought of it that way, but they're like the root of all pride. And I've really been thinking about that a ton lately. And I think, hear me out, I'm just spitballing. I've been spitballing on this for several weeks, but like this is not founded in anything worthwhile other than my own mind. That I think fear is the root of pride being like a cognitive distortion, a misunderstanding of reality of who I am and who I'm not. And we talk about humility as being the foundation of the 12 steps of it's like the underlying principle of every step of the 12 steps. That is like the founding principle. That is the solution to recovery. That is the highest virtue in terms of the 12 steps is humility, is knowing who I am in relation to God and who I'm not, and loving and accepting both as true and good and beautiful. And fear, so where I went with this, I think is that fear activates doubt in my certainty of who I am and who God is and how good and true both those things are. So I have this theory that fear activates doubt, and our solution to the doubt is some form of pride, either thinking I am more than I am or I am less than I am. And either of those things causes me to live outside of the reality of who I am. And that is what a cognitive distortion is. It is when we aren't cooperating with the reality of what is. So other cognitive distortions are things like black and white thinking or catastrophizing, where we go to these places where if you actually look at it, you're like, that's not true. That's just not true. Or it's not true 100% of the time. Therefore, that is not a fact. That is just how you feel. That is just your perspective. And so that is what pride is. Pride is something where my view of myself is not true. And the reason why it's so harmful is because it's harmful when we start to live in a way that is not congruent with reality. Meaning we're not conforming to reality. We're not living in reality. And you can see what comes from that when you think you're better than anyone else. You act unkindly, you're condescending, you're superior, you push people away, they start to not like you, and then you guys get angry with each other. When you think you're less than you are, you start to pull away. You think you don't have any use or purpose. You become depressed. You don't even try. You expect other people to do things for you because you're not good anyway. And then you end up leaning on other people. You're not pulling your weight. You're not valuing your own dignity, which is your job to do. That is your responsibility as a human being, to value your own dignity. And if you're not valuing your own dignity, there's no way in heck you're going to be able to value anybody else's dignity. Okay? Because then you're asking them to do things that is not their responsibility to do for you. So you're using them. So interesting. So interesting. I think pride is the root of every single character defect. But pride meaning believing I am something I am not, whether it be more or less. And where that comes from is doubt in the truth of who I am, and that doubt comes from fear. And now we're back to this thing about fear. The chief activator of our character defects has been self-centered fear. So the steps have been saying this all along, and I'm just connecting the dots in a way that is really interesting to me and helpful in understanding myself and my character defects that I see. And let me know if it has been helpful for you. And I think it might be kind of cool if we did like a workshop or something. Let me know, reach out to me, see what the level of interest is here. I'm doing a workshop about our character defects and figuring out, which side of pride they come from, and when I'm acting out in them, how they're affecting other people. Am I using them? Am I looking down at them? Am I treating them? What way am I treating myself in a way that is not in keeping with my God-given dignity? And what way am I treating or using them in a way that is not in keeping with their God-given dignity? Because that is why character defects cause so much havoc and destruction, because we're acting outside of truth. So let me know if there's any interest there. And with that, I pass. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you feel that mindset coaching could help you on your 12-step journey, please feel free to reach out and find me at catholicmindsetcoaching.com. But more than that, it's important to me to give listeners like yourself a place where you do not need to feel alone on your 12-step journey. And for that reason, I've created a Facebook group. It's called Grateful Blessed Mess. And it's a place where listeners can go to add their own commentary on the share for the day, in addition to my own, and for us just to have a conversation or start a back and forth where people can find support in their 12-step journey. This is not a replacement for 12-step work. This is something outside of the 12 steps. It is simply something that has a heart for the 12 steps and those who are in it. And so, welcome. If you are here, chances are you may also be a bit of a mess. And I hope that you can learn to find some gratitude in the blessings that have come from your messes.